bombed on very firm ground, reportedly didn't like it at Ascot in the Pat Edry Stakes, but that race is just hemorrhaging listed and group winners.
Do you sort of half not believe that rating?
I don't believe the rating. That's an early season rating. The one thing to say is he looks like an early season 2-year-old. There's a lot bigger horses in this field. He hasn't grown from his June and July days.
Number 7, Run to Freedom, just heading out under David Probert for Henry Candy. One start over 7 furlongs at Newbury for this son of Muhara.
Yeah, finished 12th of 14, beaten 8 lengths, but the third has come out and won since he was slow away, so he's got to pick up his ideas out of the starting gate.
And we will pick the rest up out on track.
So runners making their way out onto the course, wide range of prices on offer as you can see, but the market actually very static, hardly moved I think since the last time we updated it as regards the front 5. I'll just repeat the prices if you are just joining us. Quintilllus 10 to 11 market leader, 5 to 2 SAEIQA, ROMMEL at 4s, Jarfel now 9 to 1 and 18 to 1 Run to Freedom. So a couple of changes there with Quintilllus moving back to 5 to 6.
So they are making their way out. The horse that heads the betting is Quintilllus, who's a little bit shorter than the 11 to 10 when we opened the programme from Kempton Park. 6 to 4 favourite last time, was beaten on that Newmarket debut over this trip. What were the positives to take out of that run at Newmarket last time?
Finished best of the debutantes. I always like to see that. The top 3 all had previous experience. You can see him on the wide outside, doesn't really have a whole lot of cover. He sat up with the pace. Again, that could see him in good stead here. And he ran green when he was when Willie Buick sort of asked him for the run here, going in the dip, kind of runs around all over the ground. Well, looks bad, to be honest, is switching his legs a bit, not really handling Newmarket, but how many horses don't handle Newmarket on debut? Quite a lot of them. And he just gets run out of third place by the fast-finishing Crossford, who won at Newcastle last night, so the form's been franked, and the top 2 horses who pulled away nicely here, Rainbow Fire and Rascoli, have entries in the Horse Hill over the weekend at Newbury. Obviously don't know if they're going to take them up, but it was a typical bit green and should very much improve for the run. Plus, we're now on a flat track, which I like, and well, the ground's standard to slow, not a bit loose and soft as it was at Newmarket last time.
That was his debut, of course.
Yes.
Have you got any sort of hard and fast conclusions you made about Charlie Appleby's runners first up? He has had winners first up, juveniles this season, more colts than fillies first up, but they always improve for their runs. But to your mind, have they been as ready as you would expect first up this year?
I think the back-end ones haven't been, obviously, because the season was truncated by 2 months, so it's a bit like working on the forward ones first and leaving the slightly later developing ones to start developing a little bit later on in the seasons. But I mean, he ran with proper promise, and he showed the signs of greenness that a lot of horses show at Newmarket when the dip sort of falls down, changes legs. I love watching replays and seeing that, because you just go, I will mark that horse up going forward. It's very easy, and I like how they've got a handler down there at the start, just keeping him calm. His exuberant jig jog around the paddock hasn't built into anything more than that. I like that. James has got his feet out of the irons. But as we said, related to Ultra, who won the Lagardère, Synopsis, who won the Prix Minerva over 12.5 furlongs in France. So this horse is 7 furlongs plus in time, and I think this Sonny Dubawi, who goes well on any surface, but particularly on here at Kempton on the all-weather, I mean, he's just got the hallmarks of he'll improve. And with the likes of Pride of Hawkridge and Rommel especially in the race, they should set a pretty decent pace, and Quintilllus and James Doyle can just sort of sit in third and just get a nice toe through the race.
I think it's quite nice having a horse like Rommel in there. I mean, fully deserves to be here for Mark of 72 and in with a winning chance. But also he should provide some sort of consistent pace to aim at as well, given the experience that he's got. Yeah,
and he likes to go forward. He has drawn 9, but as we said, the only other real pace, if you wanted to say, is drawn 3 of Pride of Holridge, so Oisin Murphy will have plenty of time to sort of get him over. He can be a bit keen, and he has to give his penalty away, which is not ideal, but he finished second last time, not being able to concede the weight to a progressive Baba Riza. But Henrik, who was in third, has come out and won against Sit at Newcastle, so form's being franked again.
Got me ever so excited about the possibility of 1,000 winners for Usheni Murphy. I'm not sure it's going to happen now.
Well, there's still, what are we, race 5? He's still got a couple of decent chances coming up in the later races, including in the finale. So, you know, we want to leave it to the very last.
Exactly.
Great story.
Exactly.
He'll get it.
You want to hang around for an interview after the last, do you?
You know, if he did, I would.
Well, as would I, of course. Can I just explore a little bit further the comments you made about SAEIQA and the rating that he has of 99? Does that suggest that you're treating the form of the commentary with a bit more scepticism than you might ordinarily?
No, I actually quite like the form of the Coventry. Everybody sort of crabbed Nando Parado, but he's come out and run really well in defeat in a couple of races since. And the run at Ascot, they gave the excuse of the ground was too firm in the Pat Edgery, but the winner was Chindit, who won the Champagne, etc.
Here's John.
Will be the last. So number 4, Performante, and Daniel Muscat in safely. 7 furlongs the trip, we're ready. They're off and racing. So jumping away, leaning out to the left early was TATABOQ. That was wide drawn anyway and stays wider. Away sharply was Run to Freedom, David Probert's mount, and Quintilllus up with the pace as well. Good Cop shows some speed to the inside, and very hard to steer at the back is the Bay Warrior. Also up with the pace now is ROMMEL, so they've got themselves into a little bit of a groove. Jarfel, mid-division, but just being nudged along there from Prince of Horridge. Further back is SAEIQA, who will be ridden for a turn of foot clearly, with Performante at the back end of the field. TATABOQ and the hard to steer, the Bay Warrior, is the one in last. They move round the turn. Just over 3.5 furlongs left to go, so at halfway, and it is Quintilllus out in front by a length now to ROMMEL in second place, Good Cop third, 4th position then for Run to Freedom. Prince of Horridge is in 5th, 6th place for Jarfel. Then SAEIQA nudged along, followed by TATABOQ, and a big gap then to Performante and the Bay Warrior. Up front still, Quintilllus rolls on. ROMMEL is under pressure to go and close on him. Good Cop also. Quintilllus finds a little bit more. Prince of Pride of Horridge is plugging on together with Run to Freedom, who's getting the hang of things late in the day. So too, to a certain extent, is Jarfel, but this leader Quintilllus is surely gone. Quintilllus, another one for Godolphin on the night. James Doyle, another winner. They win comfortably together from Run to Freedom and Jarfel 2nd and 3rd, and then a fair old gap back to ROMMEL in 4th.
Yeah, it's a double for James Doyle, a double here for Charlie Appleby as well, and 4 on the day for him. And Team Godolphin, 8-11 favourite, who really well supported before the off, has won. He showed a little bit of greenness late on. He was a little bit wayward. He wanted to hang out towards the centre of the track, but he'd stolen a march on them. James did pretty much exactly what he did on the filly Look to the Rainbow in our previous race, was up there throughout, controlled the race, and then said go, and was always travelling best of them.